here. I mean, yes, you have what is essentially the adapted goats comp here, now actually just straight up goats as Joy makes a swap. And yes, you do have the same Pharah that we saw GC Busan Lucia trying to utilize against this composition, but you also have the Doomfist. You also have Winston Diva. Those are big differences, and they can be big difference makers as well.
Oh, the nano haunts Doha on this Doomfist. We'll see how much he can displace the tanks of GC Busan coming in. Meteor strike towards the back. Now it's going to force everybody towards the point as well. He's trying to get after these supports. Has to be careful. Look at the backup that Going Water have. They go in as a team. They will die as a team. Going Water built towards ultimates. They hold another defense.
I would just be so afraid right now if I was GC Busan Lucia, playing against a team like this, where you just, you seem like you're in a good spot. You seem like, Doomfist is in a killable position. He's really far forward. He didn't get what he wanted there, and you could take advantage of that. And all of a sudden, you just get absolutely, literally trampled.
Oh, this Graviton doesn't amount to as much as Fitz would have liked. Gonna pair that with Yampi's barrage that just went down, but it gets mostly blocked. This is sort of a clash of ultimates, of sort of desperation coming in from GC Busan. They know that they're 3 minutes down in the time bank, and they haven't even captured anything yet. Not a ton of energy for Fitz, but he's working very quickly towards another Graviton. GC Busan have already used their coalescence, their rally, their self-destruct, and it's not amounting to much.
Oh, got taken down there. And we will see Goin Water S actually taking this fight, fortunately for them, but coming away from it. You were already mentioning how Fitz was generating very quickly at that. His next Graviton Surge, and I think that's going to possibly seal the deal here. You look at what kind of backup they're going to have with that one. If they can find a couple of key targets with that, they should be able to just play off of that momentum.
They really need to use also unique speed boost to go after this Doomfist of Doha. Meteor strike. There's a Graviton from Fitz. At least Doha got out of that one. Earthshatter to pair up with it. They're not getting as much of the quick finish as they wanted, but the kills rolling in for GC Busan. Just have to take care of the Doomfist. They could actually finish this map right here. What kind of stall are we going to see from Going Water? Primal Rage from Umte about to come back. Noji taking his time dying. He's getting tons of healing towards the back. Time being shaved over and over. Going Water holding the defense. Joy has to use the coalescence. Transcendence from Noah also keeps the defense topped up. This is so much time wasted here from Going Water, and the Bastion's about to come out from Yampi.
Oh, Lucia in the back does manage to take down the Doomfist. That's a lot of pressure off of the board completely now as they dive right in, find the kill onto Amy. They should be able to take this one. It's just about how they deal with this Bastion. They lost the mech. Now it's the Graviton on top of it just to make sure that he doesn't rotate out. And they actually pull a couple other people out with it, taking a few kills with them as well.
It's always nice to see a grab used on a non-mobile hero like Bastion, because it doesn't really, and that didn't really amount to much. It temporarily stopped the Primal Rage from coming in. Umte finally goes down. Doha, another one who goes down. Now we got Desperation. May, is this fight ever going to end? We've been here for almost 2 minutes of GC Busan just trying to finish the map. And to keep in mind, this is almost a 6-minute differential between the time banks. GC Busan need to finish this one out, but they're going to have a way better performance in the coming rounds if they want to make this a series.
If they can even take this. A nice sound barrier, that should be all they need to be able to close this out. And there's the Graviton, and not a really good spot, but they should be able to take this. They got to get the Hammond off. Amy now on the point on the Lucio as well, and it's now in an icy tomb. It's May trying to hold on, and that will be that. Finally, GC Busan Lucia take it, but if they have any time at all, they do not have much of it. And remember, it was 6 minutes. 6 minutes. So they did wind up with a little bit of time. I think it wound up being, 43 seconds if my tiny little peanut brain can actually manage to put that together.
Around there, yeah. And now you got 7 minutes for Going Water. This, let's say GC Busan, they managed to finish the map with that 1 minute. Going Water's gonna have that extra time. Even if they finish the map, they're gonna have several minutes. They could finish Lunar Colony like 7 times with that time bank. So GC Busan, need to pull off a miracle here, but it's gonna be tough.
But here's the question. Goin Water S, obviously, yes, they're first on defense. They certainly have to put the stop to GC Busan Lucia first, but when they do wind up going to their attack, because eventually it will occur, right? So when they do wind up going for that, do they run the chaos again? Do they go for the goats right off the bat? I mean, there's so many different things that GC Busan Lucia has to be afraid of. They absolutely would be petrified right now. I would be, especially after that last fight, I would be already drenched in sweat, so mad at my team. I would hate everyone, and I'd be like looking at myself like, what am I doing wrong? What could I do better? But you know, obviously GC Busan Lucia, they're not having those same exact thoughts, and that's why they're actually on these strong teams and I'm not. But but I mean, there's just the point remains. There's so many things to be afraid of with this roster and how versatile they can be. How do you answer it? Even when you're attacking and you have the option to quickly adapt, how do you deal with all the different things that Goin Water can do?
Well, you might put Opera on a Doomfist, you might throw Joy on a Tracer. Oh my god, but you can't stop Campy. Oh my goodness. The shots on this guy, and GC Busan already cut down on their first attack. There's a lot on the line here, and I think GC Busan, they're starting to feel the pressure of this competitive experience in Open Division, because the winner of this quarterfinal, not only going to the semifinal, but the top 4 are going to trials. This is GC Busan's last chance to survive in Open Division.
And this, I think, is a big question mark, because you do have that double flanker for the dive setup, and you're running solo healer Mercy that has to really be very far forward along with the rest of your divers, and they're just going to go right in. And remember, they have to keep Unique healthy here.
Well, with the 1 minute, they're down to their last fight. Tire about to get ripped here from Doha. Who's the unlucky victim? It was Opera that was actually diving after him. Now only really the tanks remain from GC Busan, as already the Diva is dealt with, and it looks like Umtate just had used a supercharger earlier. Self-destruct from Noji available. There's plenty of ultimates to go around, but GC Busan step off the point, and this is where we're going to end here.
And I think this is, you know, one of those compositions that maybe you've talked about it, but you haven't practiced it. You haven't really, you know, if you have practiced it, you haven't done it very much. It's just kind of in your back pocket. You know that Joy could potentially play the Tracer, and you know that you could put out a lot of pressure as a full dive, knowing full well that, you know, Doomfist could be all that you really need. But it's just so tough, especially with a solo healer Mercy, where you know, you have to bring the Mercy with. If you do wind up trying to put split pressure around, then the Mercy's just diving all over the place. Goin Water S can start seeing those kind of rotations, really have a keen eye for it, and start finally picking them apart. You know, where is the Mercy, or rather, where isn't the Mercy? Kill that person, because obviously there's just going to be no support. And then they can kind of quickly dismantle them from there, and it worked out in their favor. They were able to just kind of maintain stability on the point without really having to do a whole lot. So again, how do you answer Goin Water S? GC Busan Lucia looks like they're going to be pulling out a GOATS comp, or rather the Ana variant of the GOATS comp on defense, but it's 7 minutes. It's 7 minutes.
It's going to be a long, this would be the longest defense I've seen in a while. GC Busan, I like the, you know, the triple tank, triple support. We know how great GOATS is in this meta, but they also have the supports to keep these fights as long as possible. It's a little bit more forgiving in the terms of positional mistakes you can go with. Goin Water with the Hammond, Doomfist, Winston, Sombra. It's that Chaos Cop you were talking about.
Yeah, it's exactly that. And already Unique is off of the board completely. Yes, they lose Umte, but they have the ability to reset quickly, especially if they get a pick right here, and they do. So they can just continue going forward and just allow for their tank to come back in time. They have that advantage in terms of distance.
This is a very forward position that GC Busan are playing, and Goin Water on the point. Is anyone there to stall it? The supports actually have to go back. This is not the position you want to put your supports in, especially when Joy has to use a nano on the Reinhardt. There you go. There's Mag that could save the day, about to get the Earth Shatter. There's a reposition meter strike, putting him back with the rest of the team. But that almost ended off of a C9, and this is not how GC Busan want to go out.
Oh, but they might be holding here for some time. Mag needs to put the shield up, but he's EMP'd. A lot of healing going into Mag. Or sorry, he was just regular hack. There's the EMP.
Oh my god, now Mag still just, all he can do is swing. And now you gotta swing at these little golf balls on the map. That will blow up, but it hasn't even, well, I guess it did take out Unique there, but Goin Water looks like they will have to reset, and it looked like a snowball, and at least GC Busan, I think they burnt off at least a minute and a half there.
And despite how composed they look with this variant of a Goats here, playing that triple tank, triple support, there's still so much time. I mean, we started with 7 minutes, just a second off of it, and now we're still down to 5:20. And yes, a lot of time has been taken off, but there's still so much of it left. And how can you just stay composed for that long? We're seeing them still running that dive, but this time going with a double explosives composition. So we're going to see the Ferret and the Junkrat in tandem.
Not sure if that was the greatest use of Graviton Fitz has ever seen, only catching the one. They do get the key player of Going Water. It forces the reset out anyway. Fitz hunting for more blood with his high energy, but could have saved that, have been a little bit more patient with it. But nonetheless, they have the self-destruct, Rally, Nano, even Soundbarrier going into this one. So I'm really favoring GC Busan to hold an even longer defense here.
Yeah, they do have a lot of options indeed, but you never know what a kind of random rip tire could do to your team and what kind of damage that can really have. We'll see them just going up over the top. Amy under pressure, but they're doing a good job of just maintaining on the point.
And they're continuing to do so, and to maintain them even more is a Soundbarrier from Unique that could go down at any moment, but they've torn down the heroes from Going Water, who've gone through a few changes now, but now they'll be relying on that tire, maybe the all-or-nothing tire from Yampi, and seeing what the Barrage from Doha can do if he gets at the right angle. But GC Busan playing very close together. It might be difficult to find an angle for either of those ultimates to be effective in.
See the Mercy swap as well, but now that they've generated so much, it's just going to be a battle of what these two teams are going to bring to the table with their ultimates. Riptire coming through. Will it find anything? Actually, nothing. Barrage ready, but you know how that goes. That could be a press Q to respawn sort of deal for sure.
Wow. And another Graviton launch from Fitz. It only finds 2, but GC Busan making up with the Soundbarrier and the Nano Boost. They've now invested 3 ultimates. Going Water only using, well, actually used a bunch themselves. And Curix, we were at 7 minutes. We're down to the last 3.5. I'm getting a little bit worried.
Yeah, and I think at this point, you really got to start realizing what the problem is. It's Fitz. It's this Zarya here who's constantly at this ridiculously high charge, putting out the damage. You know, every time you come in with your Diva, disintegrated. Every time you come in with your Winston, disintegrated. Everybody got to start dealing with this Zarya quickly, dispatch it away from the fight.
And Going Water going in for another fight. Self-destruct, though, could be making a lot of room, but their Farah Doha just can't get into a good position, getting chased down from these tanks. This is what the power of Goats is staying grouped up.
Another one.
What is with these solo grabs, man? Fitz, you just really hate Umte today.
I mean, if you get them every single fight, why not shut down what most of the resources for Going Water S goes into? If you can take out Umte, you take out the head of the spear. You take out what is essentially pushing everything forward and kind of dictating the pace and everything. I mean, it's working out flawlessly for them, and they still, look at this, Fitz again, 57% already. He just solo grabbed Umte, and he's almost got another. He's maintained himself at a very high energy as well throughout. If he keeps this up, he could very well, you know, have another 2, maybe even 3 more Gravitons throughout this the rest of this defense, should they be able to hold this out.
And Yampi not feeling that Junkrat, now into the Zarya of his own. It's going to take him some while to build that energy. Heroes, we're down to the last 2 minutes. GC Busan lives on the line to keep up this defense. Going Water, they're already being attacked in their spawn. Have to be a little bit careful. Last time there was a back cap, but Going Water already lost Umte that was on the Reinhardt. They're backing off even more. Meanwhile, GC Busan are just farming a whole grocery store of ultimates and another solo grab. Are you kidding me, Fitz?
Oh, that was such good timing. I mean, such fortunate timing, rather. For Quelston, as they demeched the Diva, went up in the air, just barely giving them that angle to get the self-destruct kill for that reset. So just gave themselves the time that they needed for the rest of their spawns to come back, and now they can get back into position. 1 minute left. This could be what is the last fight. Obviously not a lot of ultimates, so maybe they'll have an opportunity to reset if this goes quickly, but with how the pacing of this is going, I think this might actually be the last one.
This has to be Miracoms versus Miracoms. Slams it down and finds the rest of the team. They're going in. They're annihilating Going Water, who have handed them this one-sided 2-0 this entire time, but look at the response from Going Water. They got hit with a 5-man shatter. It doesn't even phase them. This is the power of triple support. They throw in their 0-man graviton from Yampi, and that gets the 33% they need to go 3-0 in this best of 5. Congratulations to Going Water S, moving on to the semifinals.
And you have to wonder, I mean, if we had seen that version of GC Busan Lucia throughout this matchup, how different this series would have looked. I mean, they almost held on for 7 full minutes for a full hold. What would have been a full hold on that point? I mean, to disallow from just that first tick that almost went through about a minute into that actual attack. I mean, and then looking at how they progressed from there, it's actually insane to see the level of progression that we saw from this team so quickly and their ability to adapt with what was, you know, a necessary comp for them to actually pull out that kind of GOATS variant where, you know, you have to stay on point, you know, you have to make sure that you can maintain composure. So you pull out the best comp for that. And you know that you can't really surprise the attacking side with anything. So you just have that one composition that you have to deal with everything that's going to be slung at you for the next 7 minutes. And they almost pull it off.
It's 7 long minutes. I think GC Busan's exhausted, and I would have liked to see this go further. That was one of their best showings of GOATs, and I wish I knew how to read Korean because Fitz had a card, and I wanted to see his average energy. I think it was about 130% with about 20 gravitons that game, but I just want to know the stats of this guy. I need a stats app, whatever it needs to be. I want to know how well Fitz did because he just popped off that match.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just don't see that level of Zarya play. Well, I guess you see that level of Zarya play, but you don't see, you know, the impact at that same level because Fitz was just a monster. I mean, definitely to the degree that we saw Umte the first 2 maps as a Winston, we saw Fitz as a Zarya in that last one there.
Well, we're bringing back our host, Ham Tornado. I mean, that was an amazing match, Ham. What did you think about it?
Wow, Lemon Key. I think I am just getting the vipers. Hurix was saying that he was getting the sweats. I was getting the jitters. Holy moly, talk about a cold.
Hold on, I didn't say that I was getting the sweats. I said I would have been sweaty if I was then. I want to say
This is want to tell us.
Everything's okay over here for now.
Okay.
For now.
A fine distinction. Glad you're happy, healthy, Hurix. But wow, I mean, okay, we got to congratulate Going Water S, this ragtag team with the MS Paint logo. Beautiful. Coming up, sealing their spot in the semifinals, which we will be broadcasting tomorrow with a dominant 3-0 against GC Busan Lucia. But let's break down that Horizon Lunar Colony because I feel like there are probably 37 billion points that we could touch upon, and the first is absolutely going to be, you know, the fits, right? I was actually going to throw you a question, Hurix. You're going to put on the Coach Hurix mantle and, you know, maybe guide us through how we dismantle such a strong defense as we saw from Going Water S, but apparently it's just, you know, a higher Fritz.
I mean, absolutely. If you are looking to sustain on a point where you know you have to hold out and disallow the enemy team from even capturing one single tick, you know you have a specific comp in mind, right? You know, where there might be 2, you know, a certain Orisa style composition playing off of rotations might be an option, but it's certainly going to be dangerous, especially given how strong Doomfist is right now and what you can do with the Doomfist in terms of just knocking everybody out of the shield. But, you know, beyond that, you have what is the 3-3, you know, the GOATs, variants of the GOATs, that's your option. And to be able to hold out for that long is certainly going to rely on your ability to find kills, execute. You need to be able to be lethal with that composition or fights will drag on and you will eventually lose players and you will eventually lose the point, certainly lose control of it in general. So it has to come from your Zarya and it has to come actually a little bit from your supports as well. But if the Zarya is doing as much as Fitz is doing, then that's enough every single time. If you have a Zarya that's at 100 charge, given the slight changes to Zarya as well, that's going to be able to allow him to maintain that level of energy. Yes, he got some solo grabs, but again, it's the targets that were in those grabs. And specifically, it's Umte. Disallowing Umte to have that ability to be elusive, like we talked about before, to be able to be kind of that pseudo-aggressive style that he wants to have. You're going to be putting that diva out of position because he doesn't want to go to the grab himself, and then Fitz can just beam him down solo, look back over at Umte, and take him down himself as well.
Yeah, we were talking that the nano charged Zarya, like high charged Zarya noise is just one of the most satisfying in the game. It's like this weird guttural like
It's like a microwave.
Yeah.
Full walking,
Yeah,
actual
right?
walking microwave.
I mean, honestly, and he Fitz was putting in the damage, but Lemon, you know what? In the end, we did see Go and Water as kind of still able to surmount that defense. And what do you think they were going for with that pretty interesting double projectile hero composition? We don't see that too often.
I actually really did like the Junkrat Pharah that they were setting up going against the Goats comp that was going on. And that's what you need to go against Goats. You keep your distance and you just pump all the damage you need, get the ultimates, and you can separate them from there. But what the issue is the Riptires didn't really amount to anything. We haven't seen any mind-blowing tires. And the Pharah barrage was just mostly going into shields, and the Pharah was getting chased off from Divas. So the double projectile wasn't finding the opportunities it was supposed to. And you saw Going Water switching to different things. My favorite composition of theirs was the Chaos comp that me and Hurix were talking about. The Winston, Hammond, was it Sombra, Doomfist, something like that. But Winston and Hammond is not something you most commonly see because they're both shield providers almost, or they're both crowd controllers, and you almost need that matrix from the Diva to protect either one of those. And it's very interesting to see them use the Winston with the Hammond to displace everybody. And I think that's how they were able to roll that 6-minute time bank on their first attack.
I think what's interesting about the double explosive comp too is, looking back at when we first started seeing goats, and I can remember it very clearly. I actually casted a lot of those matches too myself, so I can vividly remember it actually. A lot of the different things that we saw thrown out to deal with goats comps, was explosives. Is Pharah the best option? Is Junkrat the best option? At that time, Junkrat was just coming off of a very, very big high in terms of the meta and how he was perceived. And then Pharah as an option, because there wasn't really a lot of options to deal with the Pharah inside of a goats comp beyond the Moira just being able to get a coalescence rather quickly and putting out the pressure himself. So it's interesting to see them bringing that back. But it's also weird to think that they thought that was going to work. And that seems BM to say, but if you think about it, think about how they're going to get into that position to be able to actually deal that pressure and what they're going to be able to, who's going to be able to actually create that space for them, and what kind of angles are they going to have once they get that space. There just really aren't the right angles. It's a lot more open for the Junkrat, and he's not going to be able to just be able to spam down a lane. Pharah's going to have to kind of play angles there, and the Diva's still going to be able to have free range because the tanks are shut down because Fitz is an actual monster. I mean, there's too many problems with that composition to allow them to actually have some success with that beyond just getting an actual nasty Riptire that just never happened.
Yeah, unfortunately, no Hanzo's on the field, no one to help them with the simple geometry and angles. But in the end, we did see Going Water S cashing their ticket to the semifinals and to contender trials as well. They will be joining Frisia as well as Wildcat. We have one more quarterfinal coming your way, folks. After this, it'll be Armament versus Monka S. So gonna throw to a quick break. Everybody get some, juices and hydration, bio break, but don't go anywhere. We'll have our last quarterfinal right after this.